understand working on his craft and improving his craft. I get that, and he's going to need to. Things might be a little different early on, but things, once they heat up, you tend to result back to who you were, honestly, especially when you get in tough situations. So I don't think that him and Scott has had enough time to be working together. This is their first fight together. I probably would have took a tune-up fight or something beforehand, test it and see what, tested it out and see exactly what's working, what's not. Is he really getting it? Is he getting it? You know, is anything changed? Has one thing changed? And then fight the Tyson Fury fight. But you know, it just shows you the character of Deontay Wilder. I mean, he believes in himself. He feels that for whatever reason, all the excuses he made, I get all of that. I'm not buying any of that stuff at all. I mean, if he can take just full responsibility for that loss, I think that'll serve him greater going into this rematch.
Those are the words of Timothy Bradley as he broke down Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury, and he made some good points. First off, you know, him in his training with Scott, the prematurity of everything. Is he ready for someone like Tyson Fury? Tyson Fury was the first one, well, not the first person, but the first guy to defeat him. And the way he did it, it was almost like a puzzle that was easily done, exercised. And Timothy Bradley was like, well, hey, they should have took a tune-up fight first. And I do believe that. Okay, I do partially believe that. Let me explain. It reminds me of Triple G when he fought Steve Rolls, and you know, and he wanted to go because he had Jonathan Banks and they were going to use new stuff. And then we saw, and then the Golovkin fight that he was trying to emulate what he's newly been trained. But when he started getting hit, like in the Deverenchenko fight, he started to resort right back to who he was. And a lot of people said that. In fact, Tyson Fury said that about Wilder. He was like, well, when Wilder gets hit and it gets tough, he's going to resort back to the same way, you know, try to get the knockout. You know, the fight's getting too tough. Let me throw and land a right hand so I can end the day. You know, that's his game plan. That's been his game plan for 40 some odd fights. Now, the question is, will Deontay Wilder keep his composure, stay poised, remember what he's taught, and stay disciplined throughout this fight? I think he will at the beginning, but I think if the tough gets going, the going may not get tough. The going may get back to who he was. But there's a flip side to that, though, and I said partially that if he didn't get the fight with Tyson, if he picked a guy just to fight, just to fill out Jonathan Banks, he would have lost the opportunity because Tyson Fury would have fought Anthony Joshua, and we would have been looking at that fight, promoting it and waiting for that to go down for undisputed. So there is a cut. You know, he had to take this fight. He fought in court for this fight, so he had to take it. However, the best strategy-wise ain't the best idea. You know, it's a risky one. But again, like Timothy Bradley said, he believes in himself. So let's see if he's able to acclimate to this new style that he's been learned. You know, has he learned anything? Because it's one thing to coach someone in sparring or, you know, outside the ring, but it's another thing when you're in the trenches, you're in there and you're fighting. And will you listen to Malik Scott at that time, or will your mind resort back to what you already know? So that's the question. And on top of that, to end this, Timothy Bradley doesn't believe in the Glovegate stuff, and he'll come out better if he would have just, you know, admitted he lost. Well, everybody knows that. If Wilder said, hey, I lost, that's it, plain and simple, that would have been that. He would have had so much respect. Then people would be questioning only if he could learn from that beating instead of making up excuses, because that sounds weak, okay? Deleting people's videos off of YouTube just because they had an opinion that's boxers, that's weak. So those things don't look like a mentally strong person at that point. However, we will see what Deontay Wilder does October 9th. You guys tell me what you think about Timothy Bradley's comments. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunching. Peace.